What's up, Titans fans? We're going to keep this short and sweet. We're trying to get to 3,000 subs, and we're not there yet. So if you love the Tennessee Titans, go ahead and smash that sub button. The 2022 NFL Draft is right around the corner. So coming up here on today's show, I'm going to be breaking down some of the top players that the Tennessee Titans should go ahead and consider targeting at pick number 26 of this year's draft. When you look at a lot of the team needs as it stands right now for Tennessee, for Mike Vrabel's squad, offensive guard, I would say, is their biggest need right now, considering the fact that Saffold no longer on the team. Wide receiver is a need. I know there's been a lot of rumors around A.J. Brown, and in fact, the general manager of the Titans just said that the plan is still not to move on from A.J., which is an obvious thing to say, but you still got to try to replace Julio Jones. There's a reason why you went ahead and traded for him last offseason. Tight end, running back, and then a linebacker. So what I want you guys to do right now, go down to the comments section and name a player that the Titans should go ahead and draft. And obviously, every player that we mentioned, not all of them are going to be available. So what we try to do is not only give you names that they should target, but also some realistic names. So please go ahead and do the same. Let's look at some of these round one draft targets. I got Jameson Williams, the wide receiver from Alabama. If this guy was 100% healthy, I'd make the argument that he'd be the number one wide receiver taken. The reason why he's going to fall down the board a little bit are not because of the numbers he put up this past season with the Crimson Tide. 68 catches, 1,445 yards. You see the average. It's not a typo. 21.3 yards per catch and 15 touchdowns. He tore his ACL in the national championship game. Hopefully, he'll be ready for week one. And if you're a team like the Titans, you might be able to go ahead and absorb it. Jameson Williams, though, unbelievable talent. One of my favorite prospects in this year's draft is Chris Olave, another wide receiver, and he's out of Ohio State. There's going to be two receivers taken in the first round from the Buckeyes of this past year, in Olave and Garrett Wilson. The reason why I love Chris is because if you look at the numbers, they're good and all, right? 65, 936, 13 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson was probably the better overall athlete, but Olave just got open. And I think that's a really good trait to have, especially when you're next to somebody like A.J. Brown. Let's go with probably the most athletic receiver out of the bunch. It's Drake London, and this guy's 6'3", almost 6'4", played college basketball, can really go up and high point the ball, and can be that extra red zone target for Ryan Tannehill. A quick, twitchy receiver that I'm also a really big fan of, Jahan Dotson, the receiver out of Penn State. He's only like 5'10", about $190, but he's quick, twitchy. He can really catch the ball. Yards after the catch is another really good thing for him. I would probably, if I'm going to go Dotson, would rather have Chris Olave, but if you're looking for a solid 1B and Olave's not on the board, Jahan Dotson is a good plan B, if you will. So now here's your opportunity. I'll be the GM. Should the Titans draft a wide receiver in round one? Go ahead down in the comments section, type Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. We are showing you a lot of these wide receivers early on, and another player that has actually been linked to the Titans in a lot of mock drafts is, in fact, Treylon Burks, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. I see him being able to fit inside a little bit more, but when you're the Titans, you need to be able to block. And Burks might be the best blocker out of everyone on the list. We're not done with our draft targets, and we're also not done covering the NFL draft. And we're going to be live on Chat Sports. So at the beginning of the show, I told you to sub. That was to this Titans YouTube channel. What I want you to do now is head on over to Chat Sports YouTube channel with over 287,000 subscribers, because we're going to be live all 3 days, all 7 rounds. We're also going to get the picks before you see them on TV. There's the link down below. It's going to be in the comments and in the description of today's video. More wide receiver draft targets here. Christian Watson. Now, he's a high upside type of player. Though I will say, I might not consider taking him at 26 because the upside's there, but there's a lot of other talented wide receivers. 43 catches, 801 yards, 7 touchdowns. Producer Jack's pretty high on Christian Watson, 18.6 average overall. Linebacker position, next up here, it's Nakobe Dean. Sideline to sideline, one of the biggest weaknesses for Tennessee was the linebacker position last year. And when I think about overall linebackers, I think of Nakobe Dean, and then I think of Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd is my number 1 overall ranked linebacker, and I actually saw a recent mock that had Lloyd going at number 24, Dean going at 32. There could be a slide of linebacker for the simple fact of it's looked at as the running back on the defense, easy to be able to replace in the draft. But when you look at two playmakers, and if you're the Titans who might decide to go with just best player available, not that they don't have any glaring needs, but if Lloyd or Dean are available at 26, I think you absolutely have to consider it. One of my other favorite prospects and a guy that continues to get better and better, Zion Johnson out of Boston College. He's a guard that does show some upside, and I actually talked to one NFL draft scout that told me that he's the best interior offensive lineman of this year's draft. Better than Tyler Linderbaum, which I'm not going to go that far, but if you are looking for an offensive guard, Zion Johnson could absolutely be that guy. Another OG, and I'm not talking about original gangster, Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green was another one of my favorite prospects, and then the Combine happened. I'm not going to lie. I don't always like to sit up here and say the Combine influences my decisions, but Kenyon Green was really bad, like really, really bad. Basically, all the Texas A&M guys tested bad, but Kenyon Green fell down a peg for me. I would rather have Zion and then Kenyon Green. So if you want the best Titans draft coverage, y'all, we are here. We ain't going anywhere. So subscribe. I want you to know more about the Titans than all your friends, than your roommates, than your husband, your wife, whoever it may be. The way to do that is to hit that sub button. We're going to keep the trend going here with some round one draft targets. One of, I probably said this 3 times, Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, 6'6", 350 pounds. His combine was so good, I would make the argument, and when you look at the numbers, it was the second best combine next to Calvin Johnson's, and that's out of all the players in NFL history. Logan Hall, another good defensive tackle / DE. He could probably play on both sides. Logan is a good overall player, athletic, though. I see him probably going in round 2. Trey McBride, if you're looking for a tight end, I know the Titans went out and got Austin Hooper, but you're going to see 2 tight end sets, and you need somebody else that you can rely on besides Austin Hooper. And Trey McBride is the best tight end in this group, at least I personally believe so. Best pass catcher, 90 catches, 1,121 yards, and then I believe he had it wasn't 1 touchdown. It was definitely more than that. Let's go to Daxton Hill, safety time here. And this has been a player who's really risen his draft stock from top to bottom. Hill's a good overall safety. I don't know if he's going to be the second safety taken after Kyle Hamilton, because if Hamilton slides down the board, that could help out Hill's ability to also potentially go in round 1. But 42 tackles, 8 PBUs, 2 INTs for the Michigan Wolverines. So let me know, y'all. What is the Titans' biggest need? And there's a lot of players that we mentioned today. There's a lot of different areas that you could go, but what is the Titans' biggest need? Now, the next one here, we're just going to throw it in as any quarterback, and I understand you have Ryan Tannehill, but there are some legit rumors around Ryan Tannehill. And if you have an opportunity to get one of these top 5 guys here, maybe you go ahead and do it. These are Tom Downey's top 5 quarterbacks. Me personally, I would stay as far away from Desmond Ridder as humanly possible. Matt Corral could be an interesting option. Sam Howell's another name to throw in there. But if Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, if they slide down the board a little bit and you're able to get one of these other guys, sure, at 26 could be an option. So should the Titans go ahead and draft the quarterback, I want you to go ahead and type D for draft, or I want you to go ahead and type your P for pass. Should the Titans go out and get a QB?